All right, let's look at this part here in brown. This is called the clitoris, right? The clitoris is posterior to the prepuce, which is the hood, right? Let's look at another view. Here we go. Here is the prepuce, which is the hood, and the clitoris, which is right posterior to it. I'm sorry, it is posterior to it. Prepuce is analogous, meaning it matches on to the male foreskin, right? We talked about the male foreskin as available for uncircumcised penises and removed during circumcision. Let's go back to the male reproductive system. Notice I have this right over here for you, right? You're going to see in this lecture, I am going to make a lot of analogies to the male reproductive system. Let's go on to the next portion. Notice there are two lips, right? You have the Labia Minora, which is the minor lip that surrounds the two openings, the urethral orifice and the vaginal orifice. And lateral to that, you have another type of layer, which is called the Labia Majora, also known as the major lips. The Labia Majora is analogous to the scrotal sac. The clitoris is actually analogous to the male penis. Whenever I say they're analogous, I mean they have the same embryological origin, right? Eventually, once we get close to birth, right, there's a lot of differentiation. The next part I want to talk about is the Mons pubis, right over here, right? The Mons pubis, it's called the Mons pubis because it is adjacent to the pubic symphysis, right? And where was the pubic symphysis? Remember last semester we talked about the hip bone, right over here. This is the hip bone. The pubic symphysis actually connects, it's a type of cartilage, right? And that actually connects two of the hip bones together, the two ischiums together, right? Right over here. Right below that, right over here, you have the Mons pubis. And here we go. I have the Mons pubis drawn out for you. The Mons pubis is also known as the Mons Vemeris. Right, so let's continue. Right, the next part I want to talk about is the Bartholin's glands. If we go back to the vaginal orifice right over here, right, the vaginal orifice is an opening to the vaginal canal. So if I were to go into the page right over here, we're going to reach the vaginal canal. And inside that vaginal canal, we have a gland called the Bartholin's glands. The Bartholin's gland is lubricating secretion. It is the reason why the woman gets wet during intercourse, right? It is that fluid, it is that lubricating fluid that is secreted from the Bartholin's glands. Notice the Bartholin's glands are analogous to the male's Cowper's glands. The male's Cowper's glands are also called the bulbourethral gland. And remember, the bulbourethral gland's function was to release alkaline fluid into the membranous urethra. And just to refresh your mind, I'm going to go back to this diagram. Notice this is from our last lecture. Notice you have the Cowper's glands right here in purple, and they are secreting that alkaline fluid into the membranous urethra, which is the reason why the male's tip of his penis gets a little wet when he starts getting aroused. Remember the function of the alkaline fluid from the bulbourethral gland, aka the Cowper's gland? That fluid I have drawn out for you, which is at the tip of the penis, is alkaline. That's to neutralize the acidic urine. Next up is this region here I have drawn for you in purple. It is between the vaginal orifice and the anus. This is called the perineum. What is the purpose of the perineum? Here I have written for you, the perineum is the area between the vaginal orifice and the anus. I have that double arrow drawn for you right over here. It is the region of an episiotomy. I can never pronounce this word, right? What this is typically this region over here is cut partially during childbirth, right? So the fetus's head is coming out of the woman's vaginal orifice. And what happens is that they actually cut part of this region, this perineum, so a woman has an easier time for childbirth. And it's only done once. And I have this written for you over here, right? It's the region of an episiotomy, episiotomy, right? And it is for a smoother childbirth. It's also known as a perineonectomy, right? Tomy, just to let you know, means to cut. Means to cut out or surgically cut. Here I have this written out for you just to summarize. Here I have written the vaginal orifice is for a reproductive function. Remember, it initially has a covering called the hymen, right? It's a membranous covering, and that hymen can be damaged, right? Or it can be broken off during sexual intercourse for the first time. There's also the Bartholin's glands, which you cannot see in this diagram. It is if you go into the vaginal orifice, which is into the vaginal canal, right, you are going to see the Bartholin's glands, and they secrete lubricating fluid just before sexual arousal. Here I wrote the functions of the vaginal canal for you. It's got reproductive functions, right? That's for the sex and childbirth. Let's see if I missed anything else. Okay, and we'll talk more in the next video.